you actually have to do something to find out what the love languages is. So you've got to be willing to do some work in relationships to find out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. There's actually an effort to rest. You know what I mean? It takes a little bit of work so you can rest and enjoy a fruitful marriage and enjoy a fruitful relationship. And then everything takes sacrifice. I mean, 15 minutes doing a quiz is not a big thing to do to have a fruitful
marriage.
change your marriage.
Your partnership. Yeah. So you think knowing these things can help fill each other's love tank, right? Communicating and communicating these things to each other and other things. Obviously, having open, safe communication between each other, where you feel like you can approach each other with the awkward to talk about things and not have your partner blow up or judge you, and vice versa. You think that's very important. What about? Do you believe some people maybe, what if I don't know if I know anyone personally who has been cheated on, and they've given their partner all the love, like whether the wife cheated or whether the female cheated or the male cheated. But for the people who feel like, I have been giving her love and I have been communicating with her and I've been, giving, filling up her well and doing my best, Yeah, sometimes people still stray away. And especially maybe if they don't have any moral standards, that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? Obviously, you mentioned you're a Christian, and a lot of Christians, and most human beings would regard cheating on your partner is not a cool thing to do, right? You don't even have to be Christian, really. Yeah. But there are some people that maybe don't see it as such a bad thing, maybe. And do you think it can be a little bit of selfishness, like, or just a distraction? And obviously, we're human beings. I've had to learn that, your partner's still going to, feel an attraction for other men and other people, right? And so are you as a guy. You're going to be attracted to other women. But it's how you choose to respond to that desire that can become awakened in you when you see someone, or even harder, when maybe it's someone you interact with every day at work or in your studies or whatever, and you're coming across this person, and like, do you think sometimes just some people haven't managed that well, and they've let themselves maybe, I'll open up this door a little bit, I'll talk to her on the side, and it's nothing bad, I'm not cheating on, I'm not cheating on my wife, I'm not cheating on my husband, and then it goes to, like, little textings, like texting each other, or maybe even meeting up then after work, hanging out a little bit later after work or before work, or and then eventually they're getting emotional with each other, sharing things, and then one thing leads to the other, and yeah, obviously I do believe that if someone's in a relationship and they're sharing with their partner already, and there's a place to be vulnerable and be safe to be vulnerable, then it should decrease their chances of sharing with someone else, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it happens, so. What do you think about that? Do you think just people have to be a little bit more disciplined and having boundaries with these things?
Yeah, I actually wish I mentioned this first. So having the love languages and filling each other's love tank is probably secondary, because you're right. A lot of times people are filling up each other's love tanks, and their partner does cheat on them, and that's wrong. That's not a good thing to do. It's not a moral thing to do. And I mean, usually I'm a guy, so I think I can say this. Usually it is the guy cheating on the girl. So I mean, and I just and sometimes people go through a big struggle with that. So I would have to say, I mean, look, if you're in a relationship and you're in a committed relationship, and this goes both for women and men, okay? Put your big boy pants on and stay committed to the relationship.
Yeah.
There's going to be temptations. There's going to be little things that can easily open a door. I mean, it could be someone just in your workplace. It could be something online. I mean, it's just stop it. Naughty.
Yeah.
Naughty. Like, don't go there. Like, it's just, you're in a committed relationship and you've decided to be in that relationship now. I mean, God wants you to be accountable to that relationship, especially if you're married. I mean, that's 100%.
Especially if you're married.
Yeah, I mean, you just...
And especially if you have children involved. Because it's not just about you and your feelings and you getting your fix now, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're a man or woman, it's like a part of you know you mentioned earlier, love is a choice, and love is also selfless, right? And it's sacrificial. Like love
Yeah.
is choosing that person, right? Whether I choose my wife or I choose my husband, and I'm going to commit to them, and I'm going to put them, you know, in this world, I'm going to put them first, and I'm going to honor them, right? I'm going to do what's right by them, and not just go for, oh, my feelings are, and my emotions are going to want to sometimes do things that are not right, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're angry and you want to choke someone, but that doesn't mean you should do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes you're going to feel a desire for someone, and that doesn't mean you go pursue that and you get intimate with them. Whether that be not even just physical, like sex or physical unfaithfulness, but emotional, mental
Emotional. Yeah.
unfaithfulness
Yeah. Yeah. I
as
mean,
well. Sharing in a deeper level and connecting in that deeper. You got to be careful because that can lead to a physical a form of unfaithfulness. So
totally. Yeah. I mean, with emotions, see, it's not wrong to have emotions, but you don't have to let the emotions control you. You're in control of your emotions, and really look, your partner is your partner's not going to be perfect, and you're not perfect either. That's why you've got to show grace to your partner so that they can show grace to you. And ultimately, I mean, look, I'm speaking from a Christian point of view here right now, but you really need to find your love and your security and your identity through Jesus. You know, having it through Jesus means that, you know, your love tank's already filled no matter what, you know, and that way you're giving to your partner out of the overflow of the love that God has given you, you know.
I love that.
I mean, God,
That's nice.
you know, Jesus died for us on the cross, and he was raised again to give us life. So, I mean, now we can give that life to our partner, and it doesn't mean that we have to be a doormat. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean,
Boundaries are important.
boundaries are important. But just being able to love your wife and you know, be a good husband, and then, you know, the wife to be a good wife to the husband, and et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. So
I think there needs to be boundaries within the relationship that you both communicate and are very clear on, and then maybe also communicate the boundaries you're going to have for yourselves to honor each other while you're out there in the big world, right?
yeah,
Working, doing whatever, because you're going to cross paths with so many human beings. The goal isn't to keep each other away from the world and lock your wife in the room or your husband away, and you know, and don't talk to ladies or don't talk to women or to men, but set boundaries. And both agree on these are the boundaries we're going to set within our relationship. And when we're out there in the public with people, like maybe no one-on-ones with the opposite sex, especially at certain times of the day in certain places, right? Like if I was married, I wouldn't meet with a girl I work with, especially if I was attracted to her, I wouldn't meet with her at her house in the evening, especially, you know, because we're going to talk work or whatever.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
setting boundaries, right?
Setting
So-
boundaries and having trust as well. Trust is a big thing. I mean,
Yeah.
without
It has-
trust, any
it has-
relationship is not really going to work.
It's going to crumble eventually. Right.
Yeah, just trusting and
It sounds going a bit weird there, eh? Hang on a minute. Let me try and... what happened there? Go again?
yeah, there
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
better.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, just having trust for one another in each situation, and realizing that trust is really important, and just realizing how important trust is, and not abusing it, because once trust is broken, it takes time to rebuild if you do decide to try and rebuild that. You know what I mean? So just, you know, realizing that if, you know, the trust is important and it's valuable, and if once you do have that trust, to just never lose it, hold on to it like a pearl.
Yeah, do your
in a
best.
field. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I love that. And I think, communication, obviously, and communicating your boundaries and everything is a good way of developing trust with each other. If you come
Definitely.
to, you know, you're on the same page with things, and you can both be like, all right, cool, let's do life, and let's trust each other that we're going to follow through. And if we don't, we can trust that we're going to come to each other and confess. You know?
Totally.
So-
Yeah.
and maybe talk through it or work through it or not. We'll see where we go. But yeah, they're very important. So just to cap it off, you think people cheat because maybe they're not communicating well and they're not filling up each other's love tanks, right? And they're maybe not healing damage they've done to each other, maybe in words or whatever, and acts in the past. And also maybe they're not setting boundaries, right? And making it very clear what boundaries they're going to have in the world. They're not being selfless sometimes.
Yeah, and
choosing love and choosing their partner to honor them.
Yeah, choosing love and just having that conviction, you know, that godly conviction that it's wrong. Yeah, and just getting their love tank filled from the Lord, and then just really realizing that it's, you know, it's wrong to cheat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a moral thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just not right. Yeah.
I think if someone doesn't think that's wrong, then I'd go as far to say that maybe they shouldn't be in a relationship, right?
yeah,
Especially with someone who wants to be committed.
Yeah,
Then. Maybe with someone who doesn't, who's open to it then as well.
yes, definitely.
That's when you have to have the same values, I guess.
Yeah, having the same values and being in a committed relationship. Yes. Yep.
Alrighty.